So for those who joined, who were in breakout rooms with your specific advisors, I was talking about that, a really big philosophy of mine when working with students. And I think if you can remember anything for today, it's these kind of three themes of being informed, being engaged, and being present, right? And this is really what I'm coining our orientation today, about having these three keys and really being able to use them and leverage them during your time at Rutgers. So the first one I'm talking about is being informed, right? So what does that look like? What does being informed look like for you to be successful? Some of them are easy, commonplace, you know this, check your Rutgers email every day. But there's other ones that are going to be new and specific to our institution. So one of them is this platform called Canvas. And some of you may have already been checking it. Some announcements have been going on there. I'm going to take us there later on in the presentation. But Canvas is life as a student, especially as an EOF student. That is where we house all of our information. Yes, you can grab information from our social media. My next point that I'll talk about is a newsletter, but everything that you'll need that's really tied to EOF will come through as an announcement. There'll be a flyer, there'll be links, whatever it is will be housed in Canvas. And I'll show you, we'll walk through that specific website near the end so that you feel comfortable navigating it. Another initiative that I'm starting off specifically for transfer students, right, is going to be a bi-weekly transfer student newsletter. I'm calling it the Roosts. And this is something that'll be in your email every Sunday, every other 2 weeks. And it'll highlight specific programs, deadlines that I want you to know. I'm going to have something on there for you to just reflect and think about, whether it's something career related or personal related. And it's something, again, that I encourage you all to make sure that you check out for. It's going to let you know what's happening within that next 2 weeks, right? Another thing about being informed is visit other office websites regularly. We have Canvas. We're going to put a bunch of information on there, but there's other offices on campus who have opportunities. One of those office websites I'm going to encourage you to check often is Career Services, right? They often have new websites, new employers visiting campus, so on and so forth. And those aren't things that are always going to be added potentially on Canvas. So taking the time to look at some of these other campus websites regularly will help you be in the know. Next, review your syllabus. Y'all know this as students. Syllabus is your contract. Ask questions and ask them all the time, right? You don't know something, ask. Ask us, ask your professors, ask whoever. But it's better for you to ask the question. And I know sometimes I ask questions and I'm like, is this a dumb question? Am I someone going to ask the question? Make sure that you're in the know. You'd rather be in the know than not. Lastly is the Rutgers-Camden app. And I ask you all to kind of download this if you have a phone on you. If you're not using it for this right now and you have it to you from the side, please feel free to download it. I'm going to talk a little bit about this at the end, and I want us to all kind of to practice and go through it. But that one application can take you to the other 5 or 6 online resources that you're going to be using as your time during your time as a Rutgers student. So Sakai, Canvas, Raptor Connect, Engage, all of these platforms that I'm going to explain to you can all be accessed from that one app. So it's a very easy tool to get you to where you need to be in a centralized location. My next key is be engaged. I mentioned previously that it takes a lot more than just the degree nowadays to land a job. So I really want to encourage you all to get involved and get involved early. There's going to be some opportunities that are going to be a lot more harder for you to access, and that's just a reality, right? But work with us. There's student organizations. There's opportunities to do research. Many of you said that you want to go to grad school, law school. Research is a perfect opportunity to put on your resume to help with that application. Internships are important. Community service, right? And there's colleagues across the university who we can connect you to if any of these opportunities really speak to you. And you're like, you know what, I do want to try to do some of this in some type of way. We then want to make sure that you're engaging with faculty and professors inside and outside of the campus. Something my father used to tell me is that it's not about who knows you, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you and what they know you for. You can know these faculty members, you can know these administrators, but if they don't know you, they don't really know you beyond just your name. And you need a letter of recommendation for them, or they have an opportunity and you're not the one that comes to mind to ask, to say, hey, this is a cool opportunity I wanted to share with you because we had that conversation before that you mentioned X, Y, and Z and you came to mind, right? It matters, building those relationships with faculty. So visit their office hours, ask questions and engage in class, right? And then lastly, being consistent in contact with us, your EOF family, your EOF advisors, and your academic advisors. They really are your lifelines to make sure that you are on the right track academically. Lastly is be present. This is the last time I'll start lecturing, and then we'll get back to some more interactions between you all. Is prioritize your education, right? And I think this is something really hard when we live in a world that we have a lot of competing priorities. And I mentioned earlier, we're family members, we have children, we are working, we are in school, we want to be a leader in this organization, we want to do so on and so forth. But we also have to acknowledge that we have a lot of hats and spend time and really plan ahead. And I'm sure I'm not preaching to any of you all about this. You all, I'm sure, do all of this already in your lives, especially during this pandemic. We've all had to kind of sit back and like, all right, let me plan things out accordingly to make this stuff work. And that's really what's going to be to a benefit of you all. If you start thinking about, hey, can I carve out some time for studying? Can I carve out some time and plan ahead? This one workshop, it's 3 months from now. Let me put this on my calendar now. Let me let my family, my community that's surrounding me, my tribe know that, hey, these parts of my life, I'm going to prioritize. And then here's something else that I'm trying to prioritize, and have everyone on board so that you can reach your goals. Next is you can't do this alone. Recognize when you need help, recognize when you're struggling. And this is really what Randy was mentioning and all of the advisors is we're part of your network. You built a network today just meeting the 5 of us in EOF, but build that. Your faculty members, your peers, your family. Recognize that, hey, things are getting over, maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed, I don't know the answer to this, I'm struggling in a class. Often we find students are like, oh, I think I can do this. Maybe I had a little bump, but next time I'll do better, I'll do better, I'll do better. And they don't reach out for help. They don't figure out maybe what that barrier was or what that obstacle was. They didn't change behavior. And really, if you're not changing behavior, how do you expect outcomes to be different? So we want to make sure that you are taking the time, being present to reflect on what's happening in your life and the support that you need to overcome that. That's respecting your mind, respecting your body, respecting your spirit, checking in on your physical and mental health. If things are getting overwhelming, communicate with us, right? Next is advocate, advocate, advocate. So whether it's in your classes, these opportunities, if there's something that you're really looking for and you see Rutgers-Camden doesn't have it, advocate, let's make it happen. Let's get it popping, let's get it going, right? You are driving this vehicle, you're driving this opportunity, and we want to make sure that what your needs are, they're being met. So don't be afraid to advocate for your needs. And then lastly, having goals and telling everyone what they are. So often we have these goals that we want to accomplish, but we keep them to ourselves. We don't share them. This is another philosophy of mine, is tell everybody what your goals are. Because you'll never know when you're sharing this and share it loud and share it proud, who can actually help you get there, right? What faculty member, what staff member, what student might be able to say, hey, you said what? You're interested in social work? My mom's a social work person. She typically takes an intern. Let me connect you. Hey, you need what? Oh, well, here's this person on campus that you didn't know about. Connect with this person. It's interesting, and I have a huge belief in what you can manifest when you share these things out. And again, Rutgers-Camden is a small school. You can be a big fish in a small pond, which is a blessing, because we have a great network here of people who are connected, who can get you the resources and the help that you need to reach those specific goals. So be informed, be connected and engaged, and be present. So this slide, I'm not going to spend too much time on. We talked about engagement, right? And different workshops. So here are some of our upcoming workshops. These are all on Canvas. They'll be on our social media pages. I don't want you staring at it all right now, but these are things that are going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks. I always say for those who want to get involved in organizations, student organizations in any way, the easiest way for you to kind of stick your foot in a student organization is to get involved in an organization that's tied to your academic major, right? And they exist on campus. So next week, there's going to be student involvement fairs in the morning and in the evenings for you to learn about those different organizations to be a part of. The second flyer is our EOF open workshops. And these are going to be the ones that I know some have asked, what about different times, different days, so on and so forth. These are workshops that are broad, they're open to all EOF students, and any of these will count as you attending a workshop, right? And then the last two are two that I'm putting on specifically. So if any of you are first generation, I have an interest meeting next week at 6 p.m. Please feel free to jump on in. If you know any other friends at Rutgers first generation, have them jump on in. And this is really an opportunity for first generation college students to become leaders, to start an organization, right? And to gain some of that experience. Build a community within your first generation peers. And then the last one that I'm doing next week on Monday is a transfer welcome back mixture. And this is open up to all transfer students. This is much more social, get to meet some people and interact with students who maybe have been here for a couple of years. So I'm gonna take a moment to check the chat. I have a question, what time is the orientation done? So the orientation, my goal is to have the orientation done around 8:15, a little bit earlier than 8:30, but I have it scheduled to about 8:30. So it's 7:02 right now. So I put in for a quick break because I know we've been staring at the screen for about an hour. So I want to ask you, I was going to give a 5-minute break for those who need it, use the restroom, grab some water. Do we feel like we want to take that break or do we feel like we want to go on through?
I can keep going, I don't mind.
Finish up. Anybody need the break? If you need the break, I'm going to let you go ahead and take that on and I'll keep on going through, okay? So the next part of our orientation is going to get into some activities and really around goal planning and starting to kind of map out what some of your goals are for the semester and for the rest of your time here at Rutgers. So I have a video that I'm going to share with you all about procrastination, but really goal setting. Can you all hear this okay?
So in college, I was a government major, which means I had to write a lot of papers. Now, when a normal student writes a paper, they might spread the work out a little like this. So, you get started maybe a little slowly, but you get enough done in the first week that with some heavier days later on, everything gets done and things stay civil. And I would want to do that like that. That would be the plan. I would have it all ready to go, but then actually the paper would come along, and then I would kind of do this. And that would happen every single paper. But then came my 90-page senior thesis, a paper you're supposed to spend a year on. I knew for a paper like that, my normal workflow was not an option. It was way too big a project. So I planned things out, and I decided I kind of had to go something like this. This is how the year would go. So I'd start off light, and I'd bump it up in the middle months, And then at the end, I would kick it up into high gear. It's just like a little staircase. How hard could it be to just walk up the stairs? No big deal, right? But then, funniest thing happened. Those first few months, they came and went, and I couldn't quite do stuff. So we had an awesome new revised plan. But then those middle months actually went by, and I didn't really write words. And so we were here. And then 2 months turned into 1 month, which turned into 2 weeks. And one day I woke up with 3 days until the deadline, still not having written a word. And so I did the only thing I could. I wrote 90 pages over 72 hours, pulling not 1, but 2 all-nighters. Humans are not supposed to pull 2 all-nighters. Sprinted across campus, dove in slow motion, and got it in just at the deadline. I thought that was the end of everything. But a week later, I get a call. And it's the school. And they say, "Is this Tim Urban?" And I say, "Yeah." And they say, "We need to talk about your thesis." And I say, "Okay." And they say, "It's the best one we've ever seen." That did not happen. It was a very, very bad thesis. I just wanted to enjoy that one moment when all of you thought, "This guy is amazing." No, it was very, very bad. Anyway, today I'm a writer, blogger guy. I write the blog Wait, But Why? And a couple of years ago, I decided to write about procrastination. My behaviors always perplexed the non-procrastinators around me, and I wanted to explain to the non-procrastinators of the world what goes on in the heads of procrastinators and why we are the way we are. Now, I had a hypothesis that the brains of procrastinators were actually different than the brains of other people. And to test this, I found an MRI lab that actually let me scan both my brain and the brain of a proven non-procrastinator, so I could compare them, and I actually brought them here to show you today, and I want you to take a look carefully to see if you can notice a difference. And I know that if you're not a trained brain expert, it's not that obvious, but just take a look, okay? So here's the brain of a non-procrastinator. Now, here's my brain. There is a difference. Both brains have a rational decision maker in them, but the procrastinator's brain also has an instant gratification monkey. Now, what does this mean for the procrastinator? Well, it means everything's fine until this happens. So the rational decision maker will make the rational decision to do something productive, but the monkey doesn't like that plan. So he actually takes the wheel, and he says, "Actually, let's read the entire Wikipedia page of the Nancy Kerrigan-Tanya Harding scandal, because I just remembered that happened. Then we're gonna go over to the fridge, we're gonna see if there's anything new in there since 10 minutes ago. After that, we're gonna go on a YouTube spiral that starts with videos of Richard Feynman talking about magnets and ends much, much later with us watching interviews with Justin Bieber's mom. All of that's gonna take a while, so we're not gonna really have room on the schedule for any work today, sorry. Now, what is going on here? The instant gratification monkey does not seem like a guy you want behind the wheel. He lives entirely in the present moment. He has no memory of the past, no knowledge of the future, and he only cares about 2 things, easy and fun. Now, in the animal world, that works fine. If you're a dog and you spend your whole life doing nothing other than easy and fun things, you're a huge success. And to the monkey, humans are just another animal species. He has to keep well slept, well fed, and propagating into the next generation, which in tribal times might have worked okay. But if you haven't noticed, now we're not in tribal times. We're in an advanced civilization, and the monkey does not know what that is, which is why we have another guy in our brain, the rational decision maker, who gives us the ability to do things no other animal can do. We can visualize the future. We can see the big picture. We can make long-term plans. And he wants to take all of that into account. And he wants to just have us do whatever makes sense to be doing right now. Now, sometimes it makes sense to be doing things that are easy and fun, like when you're having dinner or going to bed or enjoying well-earned leisure time. That's why there's an overlap. Sometimes they agree. But other times, it makes much more sense to be doing things that are harder and less pleasant for the sake of the big picture, and that's when we have a conflict. And for the procrastinator, that conflict tends to end a certain way every time, leaving him spending a lot of time in this orange zone, an easy and fun place that's entirely out of the makes sense circle. I call it the dark playground. Now, the dark playground is a place that all of you procrastinators out there know very well. It's where leisure activities happen at times when leisure activities are not supposed to be happening. The fun you have in the dark playground isn't actually fun because it's completely unearned and the air is filled with guilt, dread, anxiety, self-hatred, all those good procrastinator feelings. And the question is, in this situation with the monkey behind the wheel, how does the procrastinator ever get himself over here to this blue zone? A less pleasant place, but where really important things happen. Well, it turns out that the procrastinator has a guardian angel, someone who's always looking down on him and watching over him in his darkest moments, someone called the panic monster. Now, the panic monster is dormant most of the time, but he suddenly wakes up anytime a deadline gets too close or there's danger of public embarrassment, a career disaster, or some other scary consequence. And importantly, he's the only thing that the monkey is terrified of. Now, he became very relevant in my life pretty recently because the people of TED reached out to me about 6 months ago and invited me to do a TED Talk. Now, of course, I said yes. It's always been a dream of mine to have done a TED Talk in the past. But in the middle of all this excitement, the rational decision maker seemed to have something else in his mind. He was saying, are we clear on what we just accepted? Do we get what's going to be now happening one day in the future? We need to sit down and work on this right now. And the monkey said, totally agree, but also let's just open Google Earth and let's zoom into the bottom of India, like 200 feet above the ground, and we're gonna scroll up for 2.5 hours till we get to the top of the country so we can get a better feel for India. So that's what we did that day. As 6 months turned into 4, and then 2, and then 1, the people of TED decided to release the speakers. And I opened up the website, and there was my face staring right back at me, and guess who woke up? So the panic monster starts losing his mind, and a few seconds later, the whole system's in mayhem. And the monkey, who, remember, he's terrified of the panic monster, boom, he's up the tree. And finally, the rational decision maker can take the wheel and I can start working on the talk. Now, the panic monster explains all kinds of pretty insane procrastinator behavior, like how someone like me could spend 2 weeks unable to start the opening sentence of a paper and then miraculously find the unbelievable work ethic to stay up all night and write 8 pages. And this entire situation with the 3 characters, this is the procrastinator's system. It's not pretty, but in the end, it works. And this is what I decided to write about on the blog just a couple years ago. Now, when I did, I was amazed by the response. Literally thousands of emails came in from all different kinds of people, from all over the world, doing all different kinds of things. These were people who were nurses and bankers and painters and engineers and lots of PhD students. And they were all writing saying the same thing. I have this problem too. But what struck me was the contrast between the light tone of the post and the heaviness of these emails. These people were writing with intense frustration about what procrastination had done to their lives, about what this monkey had done to them. And I thought about this, and I said, if the procrastinator system works, then what's going on? Why are all these people in such a dark place? Well, turns out that there's 2 kinds of procrastination. Everything I've talked about today, the examples I've given, they all have deadlines. And when there's deadlines, the effects of procrastination are contained to the short term because the panic monster gets involved. But there's a second kind of procrastination that happens in situations when there is no deadline. So if you want to have a career where you want to be a self-starter, something in the arts, something entrepreneurial, there's no deadlines on those things at first because nothing's happening at first, not until you've gone out and done the hard work to get some momentum, to get things going. There's also all kinds of important things outside of your career that don't involve any deadlines, like seeing your family or exercising and taking care of your health, working on your relationship or getting out of a relationship that isn't working. Now, if the procrastinator's only mechanism of doing these hard things is the panic monster, that's a problem because in all of these non-deadline situations, the panic monster doesn't show up. He has nothing to wake up for. So the effects of procrastination, they're not contained. They just extend outward forever. And it's this long-term kind of procrastination that's much less visible and much less talked about than the funnier, short-term, deadline-based kind. It's usually suffered quietly and privately, and it can be the source of a huge amount of long-term unhappiness and regrets. And I thought, that's why these people are emailing, and that's why they're in such a bad place. It's not that they're cramming for some project. It's that long-term procrastination has made them feel like a spectator at times in their own lives. The frustration was not that they couldn't achieve their dreams, it's that they weren't even able to start chasing them. So I read these emails and I had a little bit of an epiphany that I don't think non-procrastinators exist. That's right, I think all of you are procrastinators. Now, you might not all be a mess, like some of us, and some of you may have a healthy relationship with deadlines. But remember, the monkey's sneakiest trick is when the deadlines aren't there. Now, I want to show you one last thing. I call this a life calendar. That's one box for every week of a 90-year life. That's not that many boxes, especially since we've already used a bunch of those. So I think we need to all take a long, hard look at that calendar. And we need to think about what we're really procrastinating on, because everyone is procrastinating on something in life. We need to stay aware of the instant gratification monkey. That's a job for all of us. And because there's not that many boxes on there, it's a job that should probably start today. Well, maybe not today, but sometime soon.
Okay. So I think the best part of that video that I just shared is less about this idea about procrastinating and this monkey and all of this, but I think he poses a really good question. It's something I want you to think about as we start this goal setting activity for this upcoming semester, is to think about the goals that don't have a deadline. What are the things that you might want to accomplish that's not, like specifically in your course, you have a quiz every Friday, you know when that is, right? But for you to be successful and for you to really help you accomplish some of the goals that I'm sure you all have, they don't have deadlines. There's technically not a deadline for when you should get an internship, right? If you're thinking about that, I want an internship. There's no deadline about if you have a personal goal of being healthier and exercising. There's not someone kind of waking you up every day to say, hey, you missed this deadline to go to the gym today. So I want you to start thinking about what are the things and anticipating what are some of the things that maybe don't have a deadline for you, but within the next 2 or 3 years, you want to make sure that you accomplish. And I want you to start thinking about that as we go into our next activity. So I'd like you all to either take out a piece of paper, pen. If you have your phone, you could write this out in notes. But I do actually want you to write this because I think this is going to be really helpful for you and something that I'd like you to go back and review, especially if you meet with me or if you meet with your advisor. And I want you to take the moment and write down one personal, one academic, and one professional goal. That's short term that you like to accomplish your first semester at Rutgers, and then a long-term goal that you want to accomplish by the time you graduate and leave RUC. And I gave an example of like what that could look like on the slides for you all to kind of see, but I want to give you some time and I'll give you about 5 minutes and think through what are some of those short-term goals you'd like to accomplish and then those long-term goals. And then once you're done that, put in the chat that you're done. So I see your question, Doritza. So what we're going to do is I'm going to break you up into pairs and I'm going to have you share your goals with one of your peers. I'll give you another task on top of that. But right now, what I just want you to do individually is to come up with your 3 short-term goals and your 3 long-term goals. And then when you're done, you can just put done in the chat. Give you all another minute. One more minute. Okay. So I don't see any dones in the chat. But what I'd like you all to do, and I'm going to break you up into some rooms, is to take your goals that you fleshed out. I'm going to hop into each of the rooms to hear your conversations. I'm going to do one group of 3, and then 2 of them are going to be groups of 2. I want you to talk with your partner or partners and share. You can share your goals with them. And then I want you to then have a conversation about what's something that you would have to do to ensure that you reach that specific goal. So for example, one of the goals that I had put as an example was that I wanted to make sure that I attended an internship within my internship fair, job fair within my first semester. So what's something that I need to do to make sure that I accomplish that goal? An example of that would be that I would make sure that by said date, I review the career services website to see when they're actually hosting those career fairs and internship fairs. And I'll make sure that I put it on my calendar, right? So that's a step that I'm doing that's going to bring me closer to actually being able to attend said fair that semester. So if you have an academic goal, if you have a professional goal and that personal goal, you don't have to do it for all of them, but I want you to have a conversation with your peer and start thinking through what are some of those steps? What are some of those other things that I can do to make sure that that goal that I want by the end of the semester is obtainable? Does that make sense? Can I get a yes? Can I get a thumbs up? I got a yes in the chat. That's 1. Can I get another yes? Okay, perfect. I got 2. Let's put you in breakout rooms. While everybody makes their way back, I want to see if I can get at least 2 volunteers to share what one of your goals were, and then share what conversation you had in the group, what was something or maybe several things that you talked about that you could do, people you could interact with, resources you could tap into to help you accomplish that short-term goal. And then if you don't want to speak, please feel free to add it to the chat. I'd like to get at least 2 of you to share what the the broader group. But it'd be great if everyone else kind of shares in the chat too, because you were in separate groups, just to see is, hey, do we have some similar goals within the group? And really being able to kind of get some synergy around that. So can I get a volunteer?
I could go. So in my chat, I had mentioned one of my professional goals. I'm sorry, let me find it. One of my professional, like my main professional goal is for me to be a teacher at my current job, which I work at Haddonfield Friends Schools for most of you people that don't know. Reason is I would like to work there because due to EOF from Camden County College, I found this job. So like I'm now working there for 2 years. So like I'm grateful that I was able to find this job through EOF. If it wasn't from my previous advisor helping me, I would never have my foot inside the door. And something that I'll be doing to like accomplish this goal is like not only to like keep in touch with my advisor from Rutgers, but also to keep in touch with my manager at my job. He's very like informed. He likes to know how my school is going. He's always saying like, oh, like I'm keeping my eyes on you. So like stuff like that makes me know that like everything that I'm doing is for a purpose. And like I'm a substitute, I'm a teacher aide, so like I'm a little bit of everything. So all the experience that I'm gaining is going to make me be a better teacher when it's my time to be a teacher. I'm done.
Thank you for sharing. And I feel like you mentioned several goals in that, right? Like you want to be able to graduate and be a teacher. And you were mentioning to kind of get there, building a relationship with your advisor in EOF, maintaining your relationship. It sounds almost like a mentorship with your employer, your I guess supervisor at work. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. And I think both of those are building a network that can help you, right? A support network to help you accomplish that.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody else want to share? Can I get at least one more?
Yes.
Brittany?
I actually hit that by accident. My son was coming over. I'll share though. I don't mind.
Come on and share.
Sure. Okay, well, I guess a personal goal is I'm just trying to start up a business. You know, clothing, makeup, whatever. I'm just something kind of, I'm hoping to turn it into a successful business. Right now, I'm just kind of taking it as it comes. I have a lot of family that own a couple businesses and stuff. So I'm kind of taking some of their opinions and stuff, but I'm hoping to get an actual, you know, flesh out a business plan and, you know, start to research some more resources and try to get everything organized. And I'm hoping by the end of the year to hopefully be making, you know, at least a livable income, if not better. So that's kind of, I guess, a short-term goal. Academic wise, I want to maintain a good GPA. I'm hoping to go on to law school. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to definitely organize and plan out my schedule just to stay on top of everything and making sure I'm giving everything enough time and focus to be able to do that. And I'm hoping to also, you know, go into an internship program in the fall or maybe next spring. And in order to do that, I'm, you know, definitely going to sit down with my counselor and see what my options are and what would be, you know, the best way to go about doing that. So.
Thank you. I don't know if you saw what Randy just put into the chat, but one of the things that our division is putting on is this entrepreneur workshop on February 18th.
Yes, I saw that.
Yep. So mark that date.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll be a great kind of space for you to come to. And there's several workshops like that too. Reach out to career services as well. There's a lot of, again, resources to help you accomplish that goal. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
I'll give one more opportunity if anyone wants to do it. I'm a big proponent of speaking your goals into existence and having everyone kind of help manifest that. So if anybody wants to share or put in the chat, please feel free. Nope. All right, Doritz, I want to get straight A's this semester. Good goal. What other goals do people have? I get close every time. I want to get a good GPA. Yep, Joshua. Feel free, you can put it in the chat, you can share it outward. I just need to study more and find different strategies. So tutoring services and EOF, we do several workshops around time management, kind of strategies for studying. So stay tuned for those workshops that are happening this semester. That can maybe help you push you over the edge a bit. Stop procrastinating. So hopefully this video resonated with you. So awesome. So you all have really great goals. And I was in your rooms kind of hearing your conversations. And all of them are obtainable, right? None of you had goals when you were mentioning, at least when I was in the rooms, that was something so completely outrageous. It's just being mindful, using your resources, taking those baby steps and planning out what you need to do to be able to accomplish that goal, because it won't just happen, right? Finding a good balance with school, because now I have a baby and work a full-time job, right? So that's going to be another thing too, is being able to prioritize and trying to fit in that time. And again, communicating with us what those needs are, communicating with your faculty with what your needs are, and not being able to kind of advocate. Michelle has research social work agencies and fields. That's a great one. See maybe what type of social work you'd be interested in kind of narrowing in at, or what agencies you might be interested in interning at or applying for if they were to visit or have an opening. So all of these are great goals. So we're nearing the end of orientation. The next two things that we're going to do is I'm going to share some campus resources with you all. I've made a one-page document with emails and website links that you can always go back to as a resource. So it's not every campus resource, but some really good ones that I think can help you accomplish these specific goals that you all shared, right? So I'm going to share this document with you in the chat. And then I'm going to go to a few of their websites just so you can see and like show you how to navigate it a bit. Because I know sometimes getting on web pages can be a lot and you don't know where to look. So I'm going to show some of those to you right now. So let me first share this with you all. So everyone should have been able to get this PDF in the chat. Feel free to open it up. It's just a Word document, but the links are there and all of the links are live. So eventually I'll beautify this little document right here, and I think it'd be a good one-pager for students, and I could update this. But here it shows several resources on our campus, some in our division, some just across the university, that I really encourage all of you within your first semester here to use. Check their websites, reach out to people in those spaces. The first one is clearly us, your home base, your EOF family. There's our website, but really in particular, all of the contacts for the advisor that you met today. Next, learning services, I put their link here. So if you're thinking about going to tutoring, you want that A, and maybe you have an exam coming up, or you're reviewing your syllabus this week for all your classes and you know there's specific dates already for midterms and what have you. Maybe you proactively go and you set up advising appointments the week before to get some feedback on maybe a homework assignment or study strategies, right? So Learning Services has a lot of workshops that they put on. They have a lot of tips on their page, and you can also click this link and it takes you right to where you can go and actually make an appointment for tutoring. Next, financial aid. So some of you may be, again, dealing with verification I've put a star on the document. Let me share my screen in case some of you are on your phone and you can't see it. So I put the financial aid staff contacts here. So if you are still working through verification, Lakeisha, right here, her email address is going to be who you work through specifically for that process. But if you have any other financial aid questions, your advisors are organized by your last name alphabetically, right? So if you have any questions around term bills, maybe you have a grant or a scholarship and it's not looking right, or whatever question you might have, right? About payment options, payment plans, you can go and reach out to your specific financial aid advisor. Next is career services, and I actually am going to click this link to take you to their website. So this is something, again, when I mentioned being informed, I highly encourage you visit this website regularly, right? At least once a week, pop on in. They have updated events here on the left, so you can always see what new events are happening. Often with career services, they'll get an employer saying, hey, do you have time this week for me to quickly hop on in and talk to some students about an internship we have or an opening that we have? So it's not always events that are planned well in advance. Some of them are. And you can see those events on the left-hand side. The other thing that I want to highlight specifically about career services on this website is this here, Handshake. How many of you might be familiar with Handshake? Did you have Handshakes in your previous institutions? You can let me know, put in the chat. But Handshake is a job posting kind of board. And it's where you'll be able to find different internship opportunities and different job openings. All students have access to Handshake. I encourage you all to create an account, update your profile, and you'll be able to go and sort through and see what internships are available, which employers are hiring. And that's something you can check regularly as well as you are navigating your career goals. Now, if you're thinking, hey, I want to speak with a specific person in career services, I want to speak with an advisor. Maybe you're thinking, I want to get my resume reviewed or get some feedback on interview tips or what have you, and you want that one-on-one type of connection with a person. For pre-health advising, and I'm not sure that we had anyone here who had mentioned that they were interested in pre-health. I think we might have someone nursing. But if you're interested in any of the medical fields, to be a doctor, so on and so forth, your direct advisor will be Sherelle Hallman. But everyone else, what they have is their general email account, and you can go and set up an appointment that way. And essentially what they'll do is they'll probably link you. One of the advisors will probably go and respond to that, and you'll be able to interact with them and set up that general career advising appointment. I've also created or added some additional links. So if you are interested in pre-health, identify yourself as such. You'll be able to get on their listserv and get communications related to that. I also included their career guide and the link to Handshake. So the career guide is a great resource. It's a digital resource here. And this really runs the gamut in terms of services and tips to help your professional brand, to help you land that opportunity, right? So it is a long resource, but I encourage you as you're thinking about looking through career options, you're thinking about how do I make a resume? What is a transferable skill and how do I communicate that effectively? How do I write a cover letter? What's the difference between a resume and a CV? What's an action verb? What type of language should I be using on these documents to make sure that I'm adequately selling my skills? What are sample resumes that I can mimic to help when I'm redoing my resume or improving my resume, right? How you can earn credit for internships. There's so much in this document. So I linked that there for you to be able to utilize. And then the last things on the form is I put our Student Wellness Center. I put a link to counseling and psychological services. And I also put a link to a page that they have that's first generation resources. And this ends up being very helpful. And it's also a landing page with a lot of links. So they talk a little bit about similar challenges that first generation students face. And I know some of you had mentioned that you're first generation. And then the website continues to go on giving you like a bullet point, really organizing and synthesizing a lot of the resources on campus that can help, right? Academic advising, the gym, how to get involved in student organizations, career center, financial aid, so on and so forth. So if you're thinking about what's one centralized place that I might be able to gather some of this, this is one place that you can go ahead and do that. So again, I have that document shared with you. If you have any questions about that, again, you can reach out to me, or you can go ahead and do some perusing of some of those websites. And for reach out, feel free to reach out to those contacts there. So the last piece that I want to share with you all tonight, before I open it up for questions, is to talk about our online resources. So I want you all to take a moment. If you're on your phone, I know you may not be able to do this, but if you're not on your phone right now, to go to your app store and to download the Rutgers-Camden app if you have not already done so. Take a moment and do that with me. And then I'm going to show you how you can navigate that app to get to all of these different resources on your phone. And then feel free to post in the chat or to give me a sound, give me a thumbs up to let me know once you've downloaded the app. All right, Teresa has the app. Okay. Is it the one with the R Camden? Yes. It says R Camden. And Joshua, if it's the R Camden one, then you have it downloaded already. I know they mentioned the app in the general orientation, so some of you may have already had it. But in case you haven't downloaded it yet, I want to make sure that you do. Can I get some feedback in the chat once you've had that app downloaded? Okay, so Michelle's downloading it now. Scotty's got it. Khadijah, how are you doing with the downloading the app? Got it? Okay, Michelle has it. So now that you have the app, yeah, it's downloading, okay? And Yasmarari, I'll make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, got the R-Camden app, Joshua's got it. So once you have the app, I want you to go ahead and get out of here for a moment so you can see my face. So once you have the app and you have it open, if you go down to the bottom, you're going to see the 4 icons, the 4 essential tabs. There's one that kind of looks like a house, and that's really the main page where you'll get some notifications sent and you'll get like a resource guide. The second icon should be a magnifying glass. This is where I want you all to click. And it's this magnifying glass that will take you to all of the other online resources that you'll need and that you'll use as a student. You can see there's course learning apps where you can access Sakai. So you can see your syllabus or any announcements that your professors are making. They also have Canvas on that app. So you can click Canvas, log on in. And then there's where you'll see that you are a member of EOF, right? You can access both of those two just from the app and that specific icon. You'll also see that what I just mentioned, Handshake, the platform for you to be able to look at internships and job opportunities, can be accessed on the app where it says Find Jobs Career Center with the Handshake icon. Raptor Connect is here, and you can see it's to the right. This is where you can go and actually request a meeting and schedule a meeting with your advisor. So if you need to meet with your EOF advisor, you can go and click Raptor Connect. Once you click Raptor Connect, it'll take you to that page once you log on in. And you'll see right to the right, it says Actions, and you'll be able to go and schedule an appointment right off the app. So really this app can take you to all of the online resources that you need. You can always check this on your computer if you're on your computer. You can go to any of these specific applications and websites, and you can also set up notifications. So once you go on in, you can go and click where it says notifications, and you can get those things set up on your phone if you want to get notified about specific things that's either posted on Canva or on Canvas or on Engage or any of these specific pieces within the app, which you also get emails about them too, right? So if you check your emails, if you have notifications that pop up on your phone from your email, you'll get that as well if we post anything on Canva. But this app is really helpful for that. There's other functions on this app, like the wall. That's kind of like Facebook, where people can talk, share information. Sometimes students will ask questions there. Sometimes they will vent there. But really it's a space for you to go and utilize to engage with fellow peers and to get questions answered as well. So that is the app. And then I want to just quickly share my screen again. And I want to show you Canvas, which many of you have been on already, but I just want to make sure that I walk this through with all of you. So I know mine is going to look a little bit different than you all because I'm not a student. But when you get on Canvas, you should be able to see the courses that you are a part of, and you'll see one that says Educational Opportunity Fund. You can always click that. And right when you're on it, you'll see the announcements that are posted. And you'll be able to go in, click the announcement, read it. This one specifically is one that Miss Waters posted about a senior student welcome back meeting. And it has the information with the links and the login to be able to attend that. Right? So you can go and you can see the recent announcements that are here. And also, I know there were some questions in the beginning about specific workshops. What are the dates? You scroll down and you'll be able to see all of the workshop flyers. So you'll see them kind of broken up between the cohorts. So you'll see junior workshops, which I think this might apply to many of you. You're eligible to attend any of these. Senior level workshops, the transfer workshops that I'm coordinating. And then right in the beginning were all of the open workshops. So if you are a planner, you're like, I know I want to be able to attend some of these. I know they help me accomplish my goals. I know I want to be in compliance and meet those specific requirements. I encourage all of you to take some time, go on Canvas, see some of the dates of those workshops that might be fit into your schedule, but also might resonate with some of the things that you're trying to accomplish. And just make sure that you put them down, schedule them in. Any questions about Canvas? I know I quickly just wanted to show you how you can see the announcements that we share there and specifically the workshop dates. Yep. And Randy just shared a link to a Canvas workshop that we did yesterday. Or was it 2 days ago? It was yesterday. Which goes in much longer detail about how you can navigate the Canvas site because there's a lot of functionalities there. And we highly recommend that you take some time and review that video.
You spoke earlier about recording workshops. If there is a workshop that we want to attend, but we miss it, is there a way, would it be in Canvas or how would we be able to view that workshop later on?
Yes. So
all the workshops will be on this YouTube channel I just shared with you guys. And so when you log into Canvas and you saw where Brandon was like scrolling down and showing the different workshops, it's right above that. So there's like a link that says, here's our YouTube channel. So I'll put the recordings of every workshop in that channel. So you'll be able to go in and see all the ones that we've done this semester.
Yep. And then if there is a workshop that, and we typically record all of our workshops, but if there is one that you're missing and you know, hey, you really want to record it, reach out to your advisor and just say, hey, this workshop, I know I'm not going to be able to make it. Just keep me in mind and let whoever's running that workshop know if they can record it. And we can make sure that that's done for you. Michelle just put in a chat. The app doesn't show your course. So the app, when you click in Canvas, doesn't show that you are in the EOF, doesn't have any EOF options, organizations for you to join into, you're saying?
So here it says courses, but it doesn't like show what courses I have. Will we be able to check our courses through this app? As in like I have social work. I can't find it through the app when I click on courses.
So you can find, so I know one of the places you can find it, and I know you said you were clicking on courses. One of the places that I always tell students to go and find it is if you are on the magnifying glass, you see where it says course learning apps. If you click that, It has Canvas, My Rutgers, and Sakai. If you click on Sakai and you log on in, it'll take you to
Okay.
the Sakai page, and through there, you'll be able to see all of your courses.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm. So I know we have a lot of online systems. Sakai is great for courses, homework assignments. My Rutgers is the portal if you want to look at financial aid, registering, and then Canvas. Really want to highlight that because you'll get all of the information from EOF. We really house a lot of that there. And if you have any questions about using any of these apps, or you can't find something, or please feel free to shoot me an email and I'd be happy to connect with you to talk a little bit more and walk through the application, or help you walk through any web-based resource if you're having some trouble. Okay, so the last thing that I'd like for us to do today, and I'll also open it up for questions, is I'm putting a link in the chat. It's a pretty quick just assessment